this is Monica and welcome back to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. And today, I'm going to tell the story of why you should never cross the line with your friend. Good morning. Yes, I am in my car, honey. I am getting ready to go get my nails done. But before I go in here and get my nails done, I wanted to go ahead and start this story. This story is not like no other story, child. Oh my God. This story takes place while I was going to Longfellow. And this is a case of why you should never cross the line with one of your male friends. Now, I have told y'all several times that I have male friends more than I had actual friends that was girls. But once I got to Longfellow, I had friends, honey. I had friends. That my friends' names was Dina, Pam, Tasha, and Christine. Now, these four girls changed the directory of my life. These four girls pumped life into a life that had been, settled down for the longest. Okay, so before we go any further, before we take this story where we get ready to take this story to, I wanted to give a shout out to my baby girl. She turned 5 today, child. She's a big 5. So happy birthday, Jai from your Mimi. Now, I done got my nails done. Child, you already act funny when you get your nails done, but mine's had looked like it was beat the fuck up. Beat the hell up. But nevertheless, this story has to continue. Now, keep in mind, the guy that we're going to talk about, his name is Willie. Me and Willie was friends for the longest. But we wasn't just friends. We was like kicking it friends. But we grew up together. He didn't stay nowhere near us. But he stayed close enough in walking distance. So he would start off walking, and then I would meet him when he got ready to pass my mom's house, so we can walk the rest of the way to school together. Okay, now Willie was the type that he was like a baby son, but nevertheless he was. You know what I'm saying? So I think our story started when he got him a girlfriend. Now, when he got a girlfriend, his girlfriend didn't bother me at all because me and him was just friends. But I would tell him about my experiences. He would tell me about his. Now, nevertheless, sometimes she actually got on my nerve, but she didn't get on my nerve enough where I had something to say. You know what I'm saying? I would just be like, I'll let you see on your own. You know what I'm saying? But that was just how our relationship was. He was the same way. But he didn't like the idea that the girls that I was hanging out with, especially Dina, that she had male friends of her own. Now, these male friends that she had, I didn't know. So every time that I would be around her or she would be around me, I would see her male friends. It was this one particular one that every time I was around her, he would make sure to come over to her mom's house. Now, when he came over there, we would all be kicking it or whatever the case would be. We was bad as shit. You know what I'm saying? We was bad. You know what I'm saying? We moking a little bit, but we was bad as shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell, it was my senior year. What? Yeah, we was bad. You know what I'm saying? But he was bad also, but he was older. But by him being older, he was wanting to be in my face. I didn't want him to be in my face, but it was flattering that every time he saw me, he had something nice to say to me. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of looking forward to going over to Dina's house every now and again. Now, I wouldn't go over there every day because Mary Kay wasn't going to play that. But nevertheless, I would go over there, but I would tell my friend Willie, hey, I'm going over to Dina's house for a little while, this, that, and third. But he had his own set of friends, but me and him stayed friends. This is where it started getting complicated at. When I say it got complicated between me and him, I'm not talking like we got into it or nothing, or we would argue or anything like this. But nevertheless, we kind of, every now and again, we would pass words or whatever the case may be, which was fine with me because we was just friends. That's all we was friends. So he started making little comments about my friends, only because he was so used to me being around them, sitting on the porch and stuff like this. He would come over and we would, kick it or whatever, have a little wine cooler or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, he had friends of his own. I never said anything about his friends. Never, not once did I complain about his friends. But he had something to say about my friends all the time. So when he found out that one of her friends actually liked me, had interest in me, he kind of caught an attitude. And I'm looking at him like, boy, What? You know what I'm saying? Monica, you shouldn't be around them. You don't know them. They're going to sit you out. They're going to have you looking some kind of way. He even went as far as to tell Mary King that it was a dude over to my friend Dina's house, the reason why I wanted to go over there. So I called him a hater because he was a hater. I mean, who tells your mother on you at what? I'm a senior. So because I had got held back in the 7th grade, that made me not 17, that made me 18. So at the end of the day, you telling on me and I'm damn near grown. So he went to Mary Kay. My mom mentioned it to me like, do you know this damn boy that came over here and told me about this boy that's just supposed to be liking you over to your friend's house? I'm like, yeah. So I couldn't wait to see him the next day and tell him what he had did. So when I got ready to confront him about him telling Mary King on me like I was two, he gonna tell me like, well, your friends got you out here and you staying out and this is this. I wasn't staying out. My mom, even though I was 18, I still had a 12 o'clock curfew, especially on the weekday. But he didn't see it that way because we wasn't spending as much time or whatever the case may be. And they had their own car. Dina had her own car. So therefore, yeah, I'm going to kick it with her. She got her own car. And we going to sit and we going to kick it. Not him. No. What did he do? He went and got him a car. Now, he just didn't get, it wasn't no big fancy car. But he had a car. So instead of us walking to school, now we riding together to school. And this particular time that I had mentioned it to him, that why he had mentioned to Mary King about my friend's friend, he pulled over. We was on our way to school. He pulled over and put me out the car. I'm like, I know you did. He was like, since you gonna defend them, had them to pick you up. Not only did he put me out, he pulled off. Girl, that shit was so funny. He pulled off. I'm looking at his damn license plates from the back. He pulled off and left me standing there. See, not only did he put me out his car right then, he decided he marched his behind there before I got to school because he left me out standing there like a prostitute on the corner. But nevertheless, I made it 15 minutes after he did to school. It wasn't no big deal because I had been walking to school. So what you was going to do is just leave me out here. Oh, okay. So now I ain't speaking to your behind. But so he didn't just take it there. No. He went all the way to my friend Dina's class and fronted her out like, you this, you that, you got Monica out here, then this and that and the other. And I don't like that dude that's all in her face. But when she found out what y'all really are, she'll be satisfied. But that's okay. I done already told her mother what was going on, what kind of girls y'all was, and this, that, and the third. Now, keep in mind, his girlfriend was the same kind of girl. His girlfriend was loud and disruptive. His girlfriend did stuff, but no, couldn't say nothing about her. You know what I'm saying? But nobody had an opinion about her. Not even me. But everything that I did, he had something to say. He had something to say negative about everything that I did. Now, I didn't give a damn at this point. I was pissed. So, he came marching his behind into class 15 minutes late because he went to my friend's class and cussed her out. Now, when he did this, I didn't know nothing about it. When classes exchanged, that's when I seen Dina. She pulled me to the side. She's like, Micah, do you know what he did? I'm like, what did he do? I said, no. She didn't say that. I told her, I said, do you know what he did? He put me out his car. She was like, I know. And I'm like, how do you know? She's like, because he came to my class and was telling everybody how he put you out. She was like, not only did he tell everybody that, he told everybody that I got you out here all in these older dudes' faces and this, that, and the third, and what kind of woman I am and what I'm going to turn out to be and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, he did? She was like, yeah. I said, so when I seen him again in the hallway, I told him, don't you ever speak to me again. And I meant that. Not only did I mean it, I meant what I said. But he didn't think that, he thought that this argument between me and him was going to blow over. And it didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I held a grudge. Not only did I hold a grudge that day, not that next day, but for a whole week, I held a grudge. I went to class. I would never sit by him. I wouldn't sit by him in lunch. I wouldn't do none of that. Instead, I was leaving and going with Dean and them. And I was going with them to KFC up on Gettysburg and 3rd. Yep, I was leaving. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we came back, sometimes we didn't. Because, hell, this is my senior year. I planned on kicking it. And him and nobody else was going to stop me from being great. So he decided, oh, okay. So I didn't see him. The next week passed, I didn't see him on Monday. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he dropped out of school or not. But nevertheless, I was still mad. The part I didn't tell y'all is that Dina had a mouth. Dina not only had a mouth, Dina had a ratchet mouth. Dina turned to him when he cussed her out. She good well waited until she knew that me and him fell out. And she told him, she was like, not only did she seeing my friend, she was like, she doing my friend. She was like, it sounds to me like you mad because she doing him. She was like, not only is she doing him, but she doing him well. Boy, was he burnt. Burnt crispy. He was burnt on fire. He was dead. Okay? So he called me a hoe. If you know, you know. That why I would know. How was I going to be a hoe around Mary King? Huh? Yeah, I had done it a couple of times. But that didn't make me no hoe. That just made me, fast. Okay, but I was 18 though, bruh. What's wrong with you, fool? Okay, so he came up to me and he called me a hoe. One of the worst names you could ever call somebody was a hoe. Oh. That's when I knew I had to take a break from him. That's when I knew he really wasn't my friend. That's when I knew that our friendship was too much because I would tell him everything. I just didn't tell him that. That wasn't none of his business. Okay, I was doing her friend and he was doing me too. Okay, but nevertheless, these are the things that was going on. And he was mad. You know what I'm saying? So he got sick. When he got sick, he didn't tell nobody. He didn't come to school that Monday. I didn't think nothing of it. But when he didn't come to school that Monday, Tuesday, or that Wednesday, then I got concerned. But his little friends was like, he don't want to see you, Monica. He don't want to see you. He's sick. He don't want to see you. His mama don't want you at her house because, you doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. Oh, so you told your friends about it too, huh? Oh, okay. So I'm thinking because this is my friend, this is somebody that is genuinely, really my friend. I really am concerned about him. So I want to try to find a way to get over there to see him. But his friends was always over there. They was always checking on him. They was always over there. Plus his girlfriend was there. Now, keep in mind, I didn't have a whole lot of sex partners when I was younger because my mother wasn't going for it. But this guy that I was seeing, I was with him, okay? Everybody had to have experience, so it wasn't his place to go and try to check me, and you got a whole female that you with. Okay, so after I didn't see him for that whole week, I really got concerned. I was concerned for my friend. I was concerned because I hadn't talked to him. Not only that, but I would leave messages and he was never returning them. So I was really concerned. So I decided to just pop up over there, and this is what happened. Granted, all he had was like a cold, or maybe even the flu, maybe. But still, nevertheless, he was my friend, so I'm going to go over there. So I knocks on the door. When I knocked on the door, here he come to the door. When he come to the door, the first thing he says, I shouldn't let you in my house. What are you doing over here? I'm like, I'm here over here to check on you. He was like, what are you checking on me for? Shouldn't you ask your boyfriend? Should you ask your girlfriend? Should she be here? All I'm trying to do is check on you. We get into it back and forth. We going at it. We going at it to the point that he grabs me by my shirt and snatches me in the house. When we get in the house, by me being his friend, I know that I can handle him. So I pushed him. We pushed each other back and forth or whatever the case may be. But we started trying to hit each other. But it wasn't like I was trying to hurt him, but I kind of got a feeling like he was trying to hurt me. But by him being a man and me being a woman, he out strong-armed me or whatever. But it made me cry. When it made me cry, he stopped and he was like, Monica, I don't want to continue to do this. He was like, the reason why I'm so upset at you, he was like, because you don't even know that man. You don't even know nothing about him. All you know is that your friends know him. You don't know nothing about him, but I'm devastated at this point. Because not only are we arguing and pushing each other and stuff like this, he steadily is calling me a hoe. And I did not know why this man chose to call me a hoe, and he knew my life. He knew that I wasn't a hoe. But he steadily was saying that word hoe and meant it. So I'm like still devastated. I'm still in my feelings or whatever the case may be. I make it up in my mind, okay, Monica, just leave. I get ready to leave. He stands in front of the door. When he stood in front of the door, he was just like, Monica, he was like, you don't see stuff that's right in your face. I'm still not getting it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not getting it because this is my friend. I didn't think of him like he was something more or less than my friend. I just thought that this man was my friend. Okay, but nevertheless, you already know what he did. You already know what we did. We ended up, and somehow or another, we ended up, doing it. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like a regular doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, it meant something to him. It meant like, it was passionate. It was just like something like no other. It wasn't like the sex that I had with old dude. It was just something else, and it meant more to that because he was in his feelings as well. But after that day, we never looked at each other the same way. He would get more sensitive about stuff, and I would get offended if I saw him with his girlfriend or whatever the case may be. Nobody never knew what had happened that day. Even after we had, the smoke had settled and we had talked about what had happened, we never chose to do anything after that point. We never went back down that road again because I still genuinely wanted my relationship, but I could tell that it was never going to be the same because we had crossed the line. I think people don't even know how to handle stuff. If you got a friend and you see your friendship is going in that direction to where y'all both is going to do something that is going to change the trajectory of y'all relationship, don't do it. I think I lost a good friend that day because we chose to go on emotions. And it was emotional for both of us because we both was genuinely hurt. I was hurt because he kept calling me a hoe. He was hurt because I had relations with this other guy that he didn't like. He didn't even know him and he didn't like him. But yet and still, even years had passed and we still wasn't the same. We were high and by each other at school. Yeah, we would still ride to school together, but it still wasn't the same. After I had graduated and stuff, he went his way, I went my way, but our friendship would never be the same at that point. That's why people should be careful. Be careful of the decisions that you make when you are angry or when you are hurt, especially when it comes to a friend of the opposite sex, because it will, no matter how you try to slice it, it's going to end up where y'all going to lose a whole friendship over a quick decision that y'all should have thought through before y'all did it. But by us being kids, what was we gonna know? We didn't know nothing about that. So yeah, it ended up me and him, we didn't remain friends after that. But I graduated, he graduated, he went his way, I went my way. I think I've seen him like maybe a couple of times since we got grown. But nevertheless, the friendship was never the same because we chose to take it a little too far. We chose to take it a little too far at a time where we should have just sat down and talked.